All right, good morning still, I guess, by a few minutes. Everyone, at least where I am, morning. Good afternoon to everyone who is afternoon because time is fake. Uh, Forgot what I was doing for a second. I was so enwrapped in everything that the chat was saying because the chat was saying a lot of things that I am also going to touch on. Um, so I hope you are all having a good day. I could be having a better one for obvious reasons. Because, oh boy, y'all about to learn some new words. There is a reason I put a mute button on myself so I could just say all this sort of sentence enhancers that SpongeBob taught us, or George Carlin taught us, the seven. But you won't know that I said those because I have a mute button for a situation like this. And the situation like this is that fun is canceled. Who would have thought? The Savage Speeders. By the way, if you have not watched the relay, go watch the relay because I'm going to just talk about the relay. Who would have thought that the Speeders won? Who would even predict that? A team with the word speed in their name would win a speed event. You have other teams. Oceanics. They have ocean. They're a water-based team. They're bad at water-based events. The Snowballs. They have snow in their name. They're bad at snow-based events. That a team who has won relay 4 times in the last 6 years would go on to win their 5th in 7 years. This is their 3rd straight. They won 2016, 2017, 2020, 2021, and now 2022. Who would have thought? Because somehow, some way, some reason, I didn't. It really was inevitable. The speeders are back. Roll eye emoji. It is pain to see. We'll be talking a lot more about that, along with some other things that I have in my minutes. I got a text. I wonder who's texting me. Yeah. Gotta love spam accounts. Alright. Got a lot to talk about. Especially because this event takes us back indoors.
One of the most dynamic events in all is always the 5-meter
back
relay,
indoors,
where teams combine
Greg
to
didn't
get those
mention the
handoffs
duck at all.
just right and try to descend this course as quickly as possible.
Greg is now
as a
3
team.
for
Hey everybody,
5.
I'm Greg
in
Woods. Well,
mentioning
we've already
the
seen some
duck,
fantastic performances so far in this Marble League. The Pinkies recently jumped to the top of the standings. in front of
Maybe
Team
because there are
Galactic.
better things to talk about, but it seemed like Greg and the duck had some sort of connection that I thought he would just mention every time that the duck came on screen. Just got a nice camera wide angle telephoto lens, 21:8 4K IMAX screen, just duck during a marble event, and just duck. And he had 3 for 3 to start out the year, mentioning the duck. Didn't mention it during the water race because there was no duck to speak of, although he could have at least mentioned the absence of the duck. But now we are back again in the presence of the duck, and he does not mention the duck, which is very sad to see. and people are mentioning Team Primary winning their heat, or at least making it out the heat, which they definitely did, to the chagrin of some, because I do not know what the word chagrin means. I don't use fancy speak. But a top 8, I think, is where they ended up, is literally not where I saw Team Primary, because they have such a history with the 5-meter hurdles. It always seemed to be their kryptonite, although with Team Primary's performances in the past, you could say that same statement about a lot of events, because they are not a good team. But man, a lot of things happened right out of the gate. Someone's saying the title's not correct. Event 4. This is event 5. Thank you for catching that. There we go. Fixed it. Yeah, because event 5 is a 5-meter event. And a lot of things happen in this event. One being the Green Ducks. I love that camera angle. I love the just right down the middle. But the Green Ducks, I could see the Pinkies, missing out on the heat. But Minty Maniacs and the Bumblebees, those are some Hablino teams. Those are some C-League teams winning their heat and winning some medals eventually. Pinkies, I definitely saw missing out on moving on out of their heat, but the Green Ducks, that was surprising to me. And maybe it's the host curse. It's still event 5. Got 11 events left. Can't really say host curse in full effect. But that does not look good. That cannot feel good if you're the Green Ducks or a fan of the Green Ducks. Especially finishing as far down as they did. And the Pinkies. I wish they showed us which racers were which with the starting order. Because you did see the Minty Maniacs. Minty Fresh got the record for the hurdles and qualifiers. Couldn't capture that same speed in the hurdles for the main tournament, but maybe you just had that same speed for this event. Damn savage speeders. So they're just awful. Why speed has gotta be good? Mellow Yellow and Galactic. Galactic I could see failing this heat, but this is not an event for Team Primary, and you're going to see them come in second. Just boom. Right there. That last leg, you think Mellow Yellow has it. Team Primary trailing for that whole event, for that whole heat, up until that last handoff, and then just a burst of speed. Burst of speed overtaking Mellow Yellow. Galactic didn't really have a whole lot of hope. We'll talk about them later on. But As soon as the Speeders made it out, I knew it was over. 5th title. I'm just glad that the O-Rangers made it out of their heat. As a filthy O-Rangers fan as myself, the most biased O-Rangers fan, he just... Anything can happen. We've seen this. That O-Rangers, Midnight Wisps, Cat's Eyes, Glaciers, I looked at that and I said, ooh, easy dub. This was probably one of the closest finishes of the event. That bunch up right there after the very last handoff, the anchor leg, that got me all sorts of emotions, all sorts of heart palpitations, because the O-Rangers really looked like not losing it, because Midnight Wisps are doing that for them, but at least taking bottom 2 instead of top 2 in an event where the top 2 move on. And then that little burst of speed, that little lurch forward got them in front of the gliding Glaciers. Fade them. Cat's Eyes had a great showing for the fact that they don't tend to do all that well. So we got Balls of Chaos, Racers, Shining Swarm, and Chocolatiers. This was another one of those toss-ups. This was another one of those toss-ups. It could have gone either way. Really, it should have gone the way of the Raspberry Racers. Although Shining Swarm and Chocolatiers have been teams who have surprised us in the past. I'm loving some of this chat. Yeah, that moment was intense. Speeders hate 100% earned. They're probably the most loved and most hated for the one fact is they win. The Savage Speeders win a lot. You can see this in North American sports with the city of Boston. They have the Patriots in the NFL. They have the Red Sox for baseball. They have the Bruins for hockey, and they have the Celtics for basketball. And those are 4 teams, especially in the past 20 years, they've won like 15 titles total, because it just happens like that. And among other reasons why people hate Boston, that definitely added some fuel to the fire. They hate us because they ain't us sort of mentality, and that is an ain't with a T. That changes the word if it's not there. They hate us because they ain't us. That is definitely a lot of the hate towards the Speeders. They win so much. They win all the damn time. They win too much, arguably. And the reason why so many people love them and hop on their bandwagon is because they win so much. Easy dub for some bandwagoning points. Do I hate the Golden State Warriors? I hate all basketball teams. The only basketball team I need to root for is the Seattle Supersonics, but they're in Oklahoma now. So that's that. And also that Balls of Chaos. So I made my predictions yesterday for the bottom three. Aged poorly. Aged so damn bad. I said Shining Swarm. I said Minty Maniacs. I said Team Primary. They all made it out of their heat. The Minty Maniacs went and won a medal. Someone said I should swap the Shining Swarm for the Balls of Chaos. I should have listened to that individual. It also doesn't help that the Raspberry Racers and Balls of Chaos are in my fantasy. We'll talk about my fantasy at the end of this, because GG no re to that. After a very improved point haul last event, this event is right back to normal because I am getting nothing. I am getting nowhere quickly. Shining Swarm goats. They're definitely an animal. I don't know which one. Not a goat. Disney villain energy, yeah. Oh yeah, please predict the Minties bottom three every event. Now I'm gonna have them win in every event. I'll say that the Minties will win outright the rest of the tournament. Rest of the season. Minty Maniacs Gold. Minty Maniacs Gold. I have such a I don't have any words, but I have like an innate skill, an innate gift to just jinx any team I hype up. So that is why I should not talk about teams in a positive light, although here we are. Because I said Raspberry Racers, one of the best teams to ever do it, and now they are flat on their faces wherever the face of a marble is, if they do have faces, because this is possibly the worst 5-event start in their history. Probably the worst 5 events stretch in their history, because they have been high-key goated since they joined the ML. I just need to see where. Oh, like wire to wire. Shining Storm just got out to a great lead, got challenged, but the Balls of Chaos challenged the second, challenged the first, and then Chocolatiers, the anchor leg. The anchor leg is where this happens. You just gotta come in second. Come in first for your heat, that's something. But you just gotta be first or second to move on. And Chocolatiers like, hey, I can't catch up to that, but I can catch up to Balls of Chaos and Razzies, because that is a dead heat entering that anchor leg for second. And then just that very last stretch, Chocolatiers got it out of nowhere. Am I saying the Swarm did good? Unfortunately, yes, it definitely sounds like that. A heat event, a heat win is good. Winning, by definition, is good. The Wolf Pack is here. Let's hope that the Pinkies don't show up. if the Pinkies did show up in my chat, that would be the only time they did show up today, because the Pinkies, someone said it earlier in the chat, it looked like they had a snap back to reality moment. Although in a history of a team where they are bad, I guess a finish like that is the normal. The Pinkies are not a team used to winning. It's going to be very interesting where everything goes moving forward. I did say rafting will be the moment everything changes. And that's in 2 events. That is next Wednesday. We have the funnels. I did say Team Primary will be bad in that, but I also said they'll be bad in the relay. And they weren't the worst. They were not the worst, by definition. By definition, Team Primary was not the worst. That distinction does go to the Balls of Chaos. Because of course it does. Because of course it does. The one time I had hope that they would have chaos for good, they have chaos for being Garboni in the league. I should do a prediction of all the teams of where they're going to finish this season. That is a good idea. I do not know when. I might do that when I talk about the first half of the Showdown, because that would be a break in the midway point. I don't know how long the break is gonna be. If there is gonna be a break, event 8 is scheduled for the 18th, and that following week, I'm an American, so our weeks start on a Sunday. So the 20th through the 26th, that Sunday to Saturday week. Thursday the 24th is Thanksgiving in the U.S., so that would be an alright time if they did have a week-long break for reasons, because a lot of sports will have a break like that. So when I talk about the Showdown, I will talk about where I think these teams will end up, because I do believe that is a good halfway point to the season. If Mary wins the funnels, then Primary will be on 69 points. Nice. If Mary, do we know who's racing in the funnels? Because it does feel like Team Primary will just go with Mary. And I did say that if Mary wins the funnels, I will do that stream in a maid dress. Do not know where I'm going to get a maid dress from, but I don't have to worry about that because Mary is not going to win the funnels. If you could pick a team to win the Showdown, which would you pick? Asks the Wolfpack. Well, I do have Hazers fans watching. I do have Team Momo fans watching. I'm going to say the Thunderbolts will win the Showdown. Someone quoted me, "The Pinkies turn into the Stinkies faster than you can blinky. I think I'm gonna need a drinky." That was a fun line to write. Although I do need a drinky because the Savage Speeders did win this event. Oh, yes. Here we go. Look at this bottom four. Balls of Chaos, Team Galactic, the Pinkies, and the Green Ducks. Pinkies snapping back to reality, although they still are in the driver's seat. And then Green Ducks. Green Ducks. I asked it once. Gonna ask it again. It may be just 5 events in, 11 more events to go. Still plenty of time for a lot of these teams. And we'll definitely pick apart the standings because the point spread has dropped significantly. But it is still time to overreact because this is knee-jerk reactions, and any time is a good time to overreact in marble sports. Is the host curse in full effect? And I'm dropping that now. Because although it has only been 5 events, and although they are still not in dead last, it is very much looking that way. The only team to be slower than 9 seconds in the relay, and it goes to the hosts. It really looks like the host curse is in full effect, and I did get muted very quickly on the Discord. It is on the word curse. Anytime you say curse, it switches it to blessing. I thought it was on the phrase host curse, but I think if you say 3rd place curse, it will still change it to 3rd place blessing. Yes, 3rd place curse does not exist for gliding glaciers. They are cruising to a not bottom half finish, I do believe. They did not have the best of luck, but it was also not the best heat to compete in for the relay because the O-Rangers are good. They just could not capture that same magic in semifinals because they did go up against the Speeders. And the O-Rangers and Savage Speeders are natural enemies, as everyone knows. Which is also a video that I need to work on. That I do not know when it'll happen because I have been procrastinating on it so much. 69 people in the chat. Heyo. Man, this heat. I am definitely pleased that Team Primary did not make it out of semifinals because I did say they would fail. They would take 16th because that is how they have trended in the relays. Minty Maniacs, I am not amused of them making it to the finals, but I am alright with how the Crazy Cat Size fared. The Crazy Cat Size definitely deserve some success. They are definitely not as bad as other teams. Man, I have the heaviest mug in the world. The only good team is the Savage Speeders. Wrong. I know that is an opinion, and there is no such thing as an incorrect opinion. However, that is an incorrect opinion. And I say that not as a biased fan of the O-Rangers, but as a biased fan of a team that isn't the Savage Speeders. Because not happening. Not happening. Team Primary didn't suck at Relay. They might as well have won the Marble League. Yeah, that is their win condition. Just not be bad. Do not be last. And they're golden. Will I ever do marble videos on TikTok? I have been thinking about it. I might just chop up a lot of the Marble League videos I have into itty bitty bits and post those instead of making original stuff, although I do have the idea of making original stuff with a sort of Frankenstein of the scripts that I have. I'll just pick my favorite lines from all the different rooting videos, smush them together. So whenever they happen, they'll happen. What other teams do I root for other than being a biased Rangers fan? None. I'm filthy. I am a disgusting, biased Rangers fan. The most biased, in fact, of all Rangers fans. Which is why I was peeved. I was heartbroken. I was disgusted. Not by the fact that the Rangers missed out on their heat, but also, the semifinals, rather. That they did not move on from the semifinals, but that the Savage Speeders did, because nobody liked that unless you're a Savage Speeders fan, but my point still stands. And then Bumblebees, they could not get that same... No, I think they did get that same. I forget the results already. I always tune out events if the Rangers have no chances of moving on to a finals round, because I am that sort of biased fan. Bumblebees are goated. I said that them bringing on the Hornets was going to be the worst thing because they did miss out on qualifying last year, but they bring on the Hornets this year on the active roster, and they've been having their best season ever. The Hornets have been great additions to the Bumblebees, and the fact that they challenged the Savage Speeders for second place in the semifinal should be proof enough. That is as close as you can get without it going to a runoff like what happened with the Pinkies and Rangers way back in, I think, 2019. Was it 2018? One of those years. I think 2019. Pinkies and Rangers tied, so they needed to go to a head-to-head because it was for a second place, and the Rangers smoked the Pinkies. A very defining moment, a definite highlight of the league for that year, and in general, I think. Mainly because the Rangers did win it. But the Bumblebees are good, and they have proven themselves to a lot of people, myself included, that the Bumblebees do, although they are bees, they do have that dog in them, and they have synergized in the off-season more than other teams with roster changes have synergized, thinking about the Hazers, thinking about Snowballs, thinking about the Oceanics, that they all miss out after moving some rosters around. That The Bumblebees are great right now, and that may not be the case for the rest of the season, but for the case now, Bumblebees pretty good. Bumblebees are good. I'd be down for a Bumblebees podium at this point. They deserve it. Well, you think about the other teams, right? Stinger is under talked about, one of the best debut performances. Um, we saw that with the Glaciers last year. Saw that with the Minty Maniacs the year before that. And although this isn't the first time the Bumblebees competed, this is the first year I feel like they actually know what they're doing. So we have seen stranger teams get third. I'd be down with the Bumblebees getting third overall. And I could see it happening, honestly. And then the final, I did not see this lineup coming, aside from the speeders. Cat's Eyes maybe. We saw how well they were. Well, they were. That's not a phrase. While they performed. We saw how well they performed in Marbula 1. So it does make sense that they make it to the finals in a racing event. And the speed is just wire to wire. There's no hesitation in these handoffs. Just boom. No momentum lost. Minty Maniacs had some trouble in the handoff. But you see these pegs? 3 of them are on the track. That's a sign of a pretty shaky handoff. The only one that's not is the Savage Speeders. And look where they are, just cruising. All sorts of speed. Bumblebees could not recapture that magic from their previous 2 heats in this event. That would have been better, in my opinion, if the Bumblebees made it Minty's miss. But we can't always get what we want, because if I got what I want, it would be Savage Speeders taking dead last in everything they touch. But instead, in a day marked with close finishes, to blow the door open in the race where it matters the most. Fun has been canceled. What I always say when these Savage Speeders do anything Savage Speedersy. But this a picture tells 1,000 words, right? This picture right here. Bumblebees and Minty Maniacs still on their blocks. Minty's not even about to make the handoff. Speeders and Cat's Eyes firmly making that handoff. But Blue Eye has no idea what they're doing. They're like, if only this track was open so I can go chin check the speeders off of the track in a throwback to last year's triathlon. That is what Blue Eye is probably thinking. Because that anchor leg is huge. Bumblebees had no hope. Unfortunately, because they did make a very strong run. This is tons of fun to me. The relay is a staple. It is a mainstay. It truly cannot be the Marble League without the relay. And unfortunately, for everyone who isn't a Savage Speeders fan, it is not the relay without the Savage Speeders winning the relay. This is now their 5th gold in the relay. They won it in 2016, 2017, 2020, 2021, and now 2022. Their 3rd straight. Not a lot of teams can say that they've won an event for 3 straight years. The Savage Speeders and the 5-meter relay go together like peanut butter and jelly. Like white on rice. Like Abraham Lincoln and... Not John Wilkes Booth, I know that for sure. That dude, his last name is Stanton. I'll look it up later. Giancarlo Stanton, yeah. That's the wrong Stanton. That's an outfielder for the Yankees. Alright. PB&J is disgusting. That is an interesting take. I don't think I've ever seen someone not like peanut butter and jelly. All right. Well, I've never seen the Savage Speeders. No, I'm kidding. I've always seen the Savage Speeders win the relay. But I haven't seen the Pinkies top the standings, so this is 2022. Anything can happen. And we will look at these final results for the 5-meter hurdles, because I do have the Razzies ×3. That's another 11th place finish for the Raspberry Racers. So they give us 15. Oh, Rangers kicking in gear. I do like that they beat Team Primary. As much as I wish they would have won or at least beaten the Speeders, there's no real hope against a team that has won 4 times before in this event. But for a team that is usually bad in this event, Team Primary finishing in 6th, that is the surprise of the day. Team Galactic and the Pinkies, who have been really leading the charge in the first few events of the Marble League, pancaking themselves. They're not dead. They are mostly dead. How did they get me chanting for Balls of Chaos? That is definitely something I'll dog ear, because that is a very interesting story with that. And the other interesting story, at least for me, is that rest in peace to my fantasy. Because the O Rangers at ×2 is the best haul of the day. Oh, I do have Savage Speeders ×1. So that is probably the best thing to come out of this. Then I do have Midnight Wisps down in 12th. That's giving me 4. And then Balls of Chaos giving me 3. So let me tally these together very quick. I am getting 9. Is that really it? No, it's 19. Yeah. 19, and then 2, 4, 6. No. 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 My fantasy points, 69. It writes itself, folks. It writes itself. This is the universe saying, ha ha. The teams you think would do really good or really bad. So I'm giving you funny number. So another great thing to come out of this, how it shakes up the standings. Crazy Cat Size jump up 4 spots. They are 4 points behind the Pinkies, who still lead the charge. They are still on top. But that is a poor finish from this last event. They are slipping slowly off of this podium, I know it. And the Team Galactic won the first 2 golds. Longest gold drought to the shortest gold drought. Now they are back to their goldless ways. 3 straight 3 straight events, no medals. Boots them off for the podium. Guess where they are? Look at it. Team Galact 5th. The meme lives on. Savage Speeders jumping up 3 spots with that gold. A lot of teams sliding backwards. Raspberry Racers going backwards. Swarm going backwards now. If you told me that the bottom 3 after 5 events would be Mellow Yellow, Raspberry Racers, Shining Swarm in that order, I would say, what are the Raspberry Racers doing there? Because Mellow Yellow, it makes sense. Shining Swarm, it makes sense. Minty Maniacs with that bronze jumping out of the basement. 44 points separating 1st and 16th. But the fact that it's the Pinkies leading everything is insane. I do hope they take 14th just for the lulz, just for the meme. It is Funnels next Sunday. That is an event where anything can happen. A lot of the teams that have been historically bad in the funnels will be historically bad in the funnels. Although we don't know what kind of shape funnels they are. Actually, we might. Because we do get a little sneak preview, I do believe. Okay, we get a second. We get a second of what the funnels look like. That is a very different structure. It looks like we are alternating between the large green funnels and the small orange ones. So that is going to be an event where anything can happen, truly. We have never seen this configuration. It has always gone big funnels to small funnels. Or just the small funnels like in the early years. This is going to be a very interesting event. We're going to see a lot of teams, a lot of marbles go really slow through the green ones, really fast through the orange ones. If a team goes through the green funnels fast, they're screwed. I do think the Pinkies have it in them to choke at the funnels. If they take 14th, that would give them 2 points. 2 plus 67, you do the math. That'll be something else. Yeah. Someone's saying it. 12 points separates the top 6. This is nail-biting stuff, and it's only been 5 events. We still have 11 events in this season. I cannot bite my nails. These are nail-biting finishes. If I bite my nails, I will have no nails left. You're going to see event 16. Almost every team is going to be able to win the championship. It's going to happen. And I would rather have that than, say, like the top 4 really having a chance or a final podium already decided going into the 15th, 16th event. I live for the chaos. I love the suspense. The suspense is killing me. I hope it lasts. But what are those numbers? 12 points separating the top 6. That is insane. 20 points separating the top 7. Now, is that right? That's not right. I'm trying to do the math, the 67 to 47. That is 20. So 23 separating the top 8. That could happen in 2 events. That can flip next week. Funnels, rafting, 5-meter sprint. I did say the funnels, I did say rafting is where it's all going to flip on its head, and it's just going to shake up everything. 23 points could happen next week if, dare I say, Savage Speeders goes on a run. Team Primary could go on a run. They're not going on a run. That's why I put up me in a maid dress on that, because it is such far-fetched odds. But Cat's Eyes and O Rangers. Cat's Eyes, especially with that silver medal, really put them on the up and up. O Rangers and Bumblebees are tied. I don't think that's getting enough rounds. Definitely as the wait for Sunday continues, the Bumblebees and O Rangers tied will be talked about more. But that is something else. And the O Rangers have the 3rd place standing because they are winning off of medal count. Their gold in the water race. Where did the Bumblebees get their... Was that climbing? When did the Bumblebees get their bronze? Because they almost got another one. If the Bumblebees win a medal in this event, this is a much different story, because the Bumblebees will be on top of the O Rangers instead of being tied, just missing out because of medal count. But holy cow. You could see the Bumblebees going on a run. I definitely see them. Maybe the 5-meter sprint. These funnels are going to be a toss-up. I think rafting is going to be a bit of normalcy. I forget which teams I did predict for those. But I think rafting is going to be some more of the mainstays. If the Bumblebees do well in the funnels or rafting, they will be sitting pretty. I don't see the Pinkies doing well in any of these next 3 events. Okay, we get a glimpse. We get a second. We get a second. Yeah, it's pain. I wish Greg mentioned the duck. I'm gonna take another listen, see if he actually
We go
says
from
something.
speed to endurance on the next one. Who will survive the funnels?
Nope, no mention of the duck.
This course as quickly as possible as a team.
So did
Hey everybody, I'm
has
Greg
anyone
Woods.
found
We've already seen
Raldo?
some fantastic
I saw
performances
that
so far in this Marble League.
meter
The
go
Pinkies
to
recently
heart,
jumped
like
to the top
the
of the
toughest
standings in front of Team
Raldo
Galactic, clear by 10
hiding
points
spot,
now,
and I'm like,
with
I'm
the
never
Rangers close
finding it.
behind, winning the
I know when
previous
to throw
event.
in the towel.
All
I could
eyes
just
now
say,
onto
nah,
this ramp
fam,
that is
that
the
is not
5-meter relay
happening.
as we take a look at what will be an example run. So much to get right and so many pitfalls for what seems to be deceptively simple. You descend down the course, you push your teammate for the next stretch, and how fun. Those bottom 3 lanes, that's what we could be in store to see for the entire. Well, I can tell you the Savage Speeders have done it more times than anybody, 6 times in the history of this event. The unofficial record, 7.918 seconds, delivered by the O'Rangers back in 2020. This event held more than a dozen times in different iterations.
Doesn't mention the duck. He doesn't mention the duck. That is sad. Greg Woods 3 for 5 on the duck mentions. Also sad, this bingo card. Well, I do know we can cross one of these off. And not in the good way. Because Speeder's finishing medalist is now impossible. I will definitely set up a spot where you can go make your own bingo cards, because I really set myself up for failure in this bingo card. I have some of the toughest options to get, and things that I think I would like to see more than things that have a possibility of happening. So I cannot get. I'm gonna do a better job of crossing this off, actually. This is an impossible square now, unfortunately. And then a lot of these, I mentioned Indigo Stars, I mentioned Limers, I mentioned Oceanics, I mentioned, those are the teams in the Showdown now. So we'll have to wait for the Showdown to see how those fare. Although now that that square is dead, this one still could happen. Possibly. Every team podiumed last year. I think every team could podium this year. Cannot believe a team that has won this event 4 times will win it a 5th time. How dare they?
Their fans look at leaders, Mellow Yellow, Team Galactic, and Team Primer.
Where do you put cat size, or not cat size? A lot of cat size in the chat and in this comment section. Where do you put that you found Raldo? Do you just put it in the comments? Because we might do that. I don't know what echoed. We might do that. I mean, it has been an hour. Um, but it feels like a lot to talk about, especially since these standings are heating up. Have I mentioned all my minutes? Say that fun is canceled. Got that. Said that Greg did not mention the duck, unfortunately. Mention the host curse. How is the host curse poll doing? 60% saying that it is in full effect. Yeah, I can. I'll just have that 60% saying yes, it is in full effect. Remains to be seen. 11 events, still plenty of time left. Green Ducks could go on a run, especially now that rafting's back. Rafting, one of those events that the Ducks did perform very well at. I think they do have the record. So we could see the Ducks going on a run as we approach the midway point. Galactic is falling off. Mentioned primary, not last. Team Galact 5th in full effect. Pinky's failing in Pinky's fashion, and the standings tightening up. Anything can happen. So I did get through everything I did want to talk about. This is not a host curse. They're just a mediocre team. That is a spicy take. We do not get a lot of spicy takes nowadays. But calling the Green Ducks a mediocre team, that is an opinion not a lot of people hold. Myself included. I've been calling it a slump. They do have one medal, so maybe it is on the up and up. Maybe it's a slump. Maybe it's not the host curse. Maybe it is. They're just bad. Because if the Pinkies have been proving us anything, it's that bad teams can have very good stretches of competition. 3 straight medals followed by a 15th place finish. They're still in control of the top spot, but for how long? 4 points. That could flip next week easily. Just 4 points and then 12 points separating the top 6. I am so excited for the rest of the events, especially funnels now that they have a new layout. That's going to be very fun to see how the different racers navigate that. Green Ducks equal the Minty Maniacs. I think that is just a wrong comparison. I am not good at math, but I know that does not equate. That does not compute. What I think about the Bumblebees, I think it is about time that they got good. I think you'll see a lot of good things from the Bumblebees going forward. And of course, we will clip this section right here for when what I just said ages like milk. But the Bumblebees taking on the Hornets to the roster has really worked out for them, especially since they took on the top 2 marbles from the Hornets. And someone said that Raldo's at 622. I like these short events. Um, although I do like more marbles for my marbles. Uh, but here I am an hour later, still talking about a 7-minute video. What was the hint for Raldo? Yeah, somewhere in the stadium, comfortable has a great view. Um, not in the stands. Although, if he is in the speeders section, that is nice of him to actually buy a ticket. But if Raldo is in the Savage Speeders section, that would be just mean. I'm finally here, so feel free to bring up the All-Star set race idea. Um, I'm gonna pin you. Um, so for those who do not know, that is Tim Ritz. And we also see Tim Ritz credited right here. He did make all the logos that you see. Did you make the logo, Tim, for the year, the 2022 Shield logo? Because uh all these logos and nameplates plates all the logos, all the nameplates that you see were designed by Tim. Same with the logo I have for my channel and all the different symbols and nameplates that I've been using for my intro and outro cards. Okay, so I did make the logo for the actual tournament. That is sweet. I like what you did with the blackjacks, by the way. I do have to update my football helmets, but that is a lot sleeker, a lot shinier. Definitely interesting to see how the blackjacks are gonna compete. Same with the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack were in the chat earlier. So I do not know where Raldo is. I'm definitely not winning any sort of Find Raldo competition. I barely find him where when it's set to easy. I actually did find it. I was looking through one of my videos, and he was in a clip that I use when making fun of some team. And I'm like, oh, hey, there's Raldo. So, all right. So I did mention something that Tim is alluding to in the Marble Base Discord server, I mentioned how lots of sports leagues will have an all-star break. So NBA for basketball will have an all-star break. The MLB for baseball will have an all-star break. I don't know if hockey has one because I don't really pay attention to hockey. And the NFL, since there are only 16 games, they have their Pro Bowl at the end, but they all follow the same formula where you take the best athletes in your league and you have them do different competitions with different head-to-head matchups and different teams. So they'll have an all-star game with the best teams in each conference from all different teams going up against each other. And I put together a sort of dream team, if you will, of if Yellow's Marble Runs decides to have a sort of all-star event like these other sports leagues, and they do have a bunch of different athletes from a bunch of different teams competing on the same team, then there should be a team comprised of Greg Woods, Minos, who does the all the theme music and all the music you hear in the Marble League, Tim, and myself. So those are the four. Is Greg Woods, Minos, Tim, and myself as a team. I don't know what our team would be named, but I'm pretty sure people would have some great ideas for that. Finding Raldo for this event is going to be difficult. I think finding Raldo in general will be difficult, at least for myself. Someone said 6 minutes 22 seconds, but I don't think he's there. Unless he's like really hiding somewhere. It said he had a great view. I think he's gonna be in like one of the judges stands, or like one of the judges stairs, or like the seats for the referees. But I don't think I'm gonna find it. Someone's definitely gonna. See, there was one time, I think during the qualifiers, he was like right up under the stand for hurdles. And it's like, well, I'll be darned. I actually saw him. It only took me a month, but I definitely saw him. Would I want a Thesaurus Dinosaurus team with my logo? Maybe that can be the team. Maybe if there is going to be a dream team of Greg, Tim, Minos, and myself, maybe that could be the Thesaurus Dinosaurus team. I'd be okay with that. That would be something I would put on my resumes for the rest of my life. And I think that would be possibly the best marble team created. Yeah, it says that Raldo's comfortable. I think Raldo's definition of comfortable is very different. Oh, unless he's in the booth. Is he with the duck? You know, Momo, you did a very incredible job with the duck. Now that I'm seeing the actual statue up close, your drawing really hit the nail on the head. Like that is the best looking Team Thesaurus versus the Savage Speeders. I would cry regardless of the outcome. I do not know the physical abilities of Greg, Tim, or Minos. I know I can barely climb the stairs with groceries without being winded. I think we would get smoked, respectfully, because I am probably as unclutch as they come. But that would be fun. See, I want Raldo up in the announcer's booth one of these days because that's like the best view you can possibly have. Gotta say that is a bit of a lie. Broadcasting booths do have like a million different screens of a million different angles so you can actually see what's going on. And I know in baseball, a bunch of the announcers will still have binoculars to watch the game from their booth because you really can't see anything. Those are the coaches. Maybe up with the coaches? Do we see any of these other press boxes? You think he'd be somewhere in the middle of the video? Because that's when the event happened. I'm waiting for the day where Raldo just replaces the trophy. I am not going to find him. I'm just not. But that's okay. Someone else will. Yes, it has been an hour and 20 minutes for a 7-minute video. And I did talk about everything that I wanted to talk about. Talked about a lot of the stuff that you all wanted to talk about. Funnels happens Sunday. And again, there are 3 people that Sunday is reserved for. I also just don't like the thought of working on a Sunday. So I will catch you all Monday, noonish, 11:30ish. It might end up being noonish. But Monday we will debrief the funnels, and hopefully I will not wear a maid dress. And yesterday I did do some busy work. I fixed the intro and outro music. I have a software called OBS Studio for my live streaming. And for some reason, in these newer versions of OBS, if you have a video with, if you just have some audio source, if you have music playing or video with audio, it'll just start looping it for whatever reason. I was able to turn that looping off because it is very hidden away. So I have music again. It is going to be the Waluigi outro because that is the best outro. Maybe that should be one of the... We get Waluigi on our team. That can be the reserve. Waluigi's the reserve. It's going to be me, Tim, Minos, Greg, Waluigi. That is Team Thesaurus Dinosaurus. Make it happen. All-Star break. It can be an off-season event. That would be incredible. All right. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. See ya Monday.